Alright guys, welcome back to the Frugal Homestead. So today I want to talk to you about how we're getting home internet for the whole house for $25 a month. First you have to understand the backstory though, because for years I fought to get Spectrum's cable internet back here to our homestead. Now we live back a private lane in southeast rural Ohio. So they had no problem running the main road because that was all the customers, but they actually made me go get all the neighbor signatures. It was like a 2-year ordeal to finally get them put internet in. So for 2 years, they locked me in for a price they said was locked in for $55 a month. Now through that 2 years, it went up to almost $70 a month, and I didn't say a word. Well, about 2 or 3 months ago, I got a bill for $129, guys, for 200 megabits per second service. I called them up and they said, oh, well, your 2 years is up. There's nothing we can do, blah, blah, blah. And they wanted to argue with me. And I think they thought I was just going to take it. I took their equipment back to their store in Lancaster and gave it back to them. They were just stunned. The whole place was just in awe, and I was making a scene. I said, you guys want to double my bill and not do nothing about it? So they very nicely asked me to kind of move on. But what that did was it kicked me back into my old mindset. But because before that, we could have DSL, but it was like 1 megabit per second. It was junk. It didn't work half the time. So back in the old days, we had to hack the hotspots on the old Sprint phones to get internet out here that was of any quality. So I went back to that mindset and I found an option that literally could either be free or $25 a month. And I'm going to share it with you today and show you how we're using it. Now make sure you stay to the end of the video because there's 4 or 5 different parts to this on how you can use it to make it work best for you. So what we're doing is we're using, and this is not hacked, this is completely in their service terms, we are using the Visible wireless phone. Now if you don't know what Visible wireless is, it runs off the Verizon network. It is a phone service that's an MVNO, but what makes it different from most normal like sub MVNO plans is they're cloud-based. So there's not a store you can go to and all your traffic is going to be routed through 2 or 3 little substations they got, and it's all cloud-based. There is no actual physical servers. Now, the only downfall to that is ping and latency. So if you're like wanting to be one of them gamers that are on point full tilt, this is probably not for you. But for your standard streaming, internet, I use it for my YouTube stuff, this will work great. Now Verizon is pounding out 5G everywhere. Visible does include 5G if it's available in your area. It is not available in ours. There actually is only 1 tower close to us, which is still way far away. And we still get decent service here. Now, obviously, if the network gets busy, it's not as good. But let me explain the whole system and show you the different tiers and ways you can use it and explain to you how you can get this for $25 a month or possibly for free if you wanted to actually change your phone service. So the first thing I want to talk about is the phones. Visible can work with any factory unlocked phone, not a carrier unlocked. So if you bought your phone straight from Apple or straight from Samsung, it'll work. I got it to work on our unlocked we bought from Walmart Samsung S9s, but I didn't want to mess with it. So for like $20, I got this ZTE phone that I throw in the window. Now you can see there's one of those car window reflective things to shade it. That's because the sun hits this window late in the day and I don't want it to get hot. It's just a cheap phone. I think it was like $20. They actually have some 5G entry-level phones that if you send an old phone in, they'll just trade you out. You just pay the shipping. So there's lots of option. Visible is pretty easy to deal with because you only deal with in the app or messaging. There's no one really to talk to or go talk to, so that could be bad or good. Now, with the internet, the easiest way to use this is just go in and turn your hotspot on because it has unlimited hotspot, and I mean unlimited. I will actually put the numbers up on the screen of how much we're using every month. And I think it'll blow your guys' mind how much data we've been using through this phone. I mean, this is not a joke. I'm uploading like 2 gig video files in 4K twice a week. we are downloading. There's a family of 4 downloading and streaming and using this. Now, with the hotspot being unlimited, when you're actually using the hotspots, there are some downfalls to it. One is it's capped at 5 megabits per second. You may be saying, Tony, that's not going to work. Don't worry. There's options to get around that. They're super easy. The other limitation is if you're on an Android phone, you can only connect one device at a time. They have the ability to lock it down where only one device can be hooked up at a time to it. If you're on an Apple phone, you can have unlimited devices. So if you want to get this set up with Apple, you can hook it to whatever. Now, that's using the built-in hotspot on the phone. That wouldn't work very well for my kids that live over there in the other apartment if I just did it that way. That wouldn't work real well for my TV in my bedroom. We're using this for house internet. So let me explain to you the next step. USB tethering is unlocked too, guys, and that's not capped. So what I've done, now you can do this a lot of different ways, but what I've done is I have run it with a USB, which also keeps the phone charged, to this computer. Now, I have a bunch of computers. I just use this one because it uses about 17 watts an hour just sitting there, so it's very energy efficient. And I can just let it hibernate, but yet it's still in the power mode to where it still will pass through the internet. So now, in this situation, if you wanted to, even like an older laptop like this has an HDMI port. So you could just hook that to your TV and stream straight through that. Now, once again, that's not going to help to do the whole house. So this is where 2 things can happen. One, if your computer has it inside of it, usually you can go right over here to your internet, click on it, and it'll say hotspot if you're on Windows. And you can just turn on mobile hotspot. This computer does not have a Wi-Fi card that does that. So, all I did, because I wanted serious power and serious distance, is we went into the adapter settings, okay? And when you go in there, you're going to see the one that it's connected to. What you do is you click that, left click it, go to properties, and then you go into sharing. You click to share, and you put Ethernet as what you want to share with, and you hit OK. Now what you've done is you're coming in the USB cable and you're going out the Ethernet cable. And all you do is set up a router at the other end, guys. You can get these ones for like $5 at your local thrift store most times. These type in. You can get the old type G for next to nothing. People usually give you them. They usually have them sit in their closet somewhere. So what that does is it sends internet all through the house and all through the apartment, outside. I mean, honestly, it gives us full range of internet. Now, with that said, let's talk about speeds. Because remember, I said that it was capped at 5 megabits per second on the hotspot. Now, we are in prime time hours, and like I said, we're very rural and we're far away from the tower. But let's see what kind of speeds we can get. All right. We'll start off here, and we will hit go. Now I want to go down to show you guys Verizon, like I told you, so there's nothing funny going on, but you notice it says Oklahoma. That's where their server is, so it sends it all that way, and that's why you got that 92 ping. So as you can see, we're in prime time right now. You know, everybody's on their phones and stuff. So we're pulling about 4 or 5. And the upload's pulling about 1 to 2. But like I said, this is like 7, 8 o'clock at night. Everybody's on their phones. Now, that was that one. So let's close it. Now let's do another test. So now we're pushing about 6 on the Google test. And it's going higher. It's working its way up. But I told you it was capped at 5 on the hotspot. You can already see we can surpass that. Now, I do want to show you this because this can be an issue for some people. YouTube and Netflix are capped at 480 on this. You can use a VPN to bypass it. It's not very hard. We actually use Surfshark. I'll leave a link down in the description below to Surfshark if you're interested in it. But just to show you, you just saw us get 6. Now you're going to see it just hover around 2 because that's 480 streaming. And that's plenty to do 480 streaming. And most times, like especially when we want to use our Roku, that works absolutely perfect to self-align with YouTube. We don't actually use Netflix, but for general streaming, the only ones it messes with is YouTube and Netflix. So now that you guys have got to see that part, we will go ahead and get another one going. I want to show you that it does put out a decent speed through Wi-Fi. So as you can see, I am on Wi-Fi. Alright. Now let's you can actually see the last test I ran, I got 15. That was right before we started doing this video. So you can see Verizon. So we are on Verizon. You can see at the top there, we do have Wi-Fi on. Nothing funny going on. Jumping around a lot, about 5 or 6. Getting about 1.5 on the upload. Now mind you guys, as I'm shooting this video, the kids are probably on the internet over there. My wife may have something back there. Her phone may be hooked up downloading something. My computer for editing right there is hooked up and turned on, and it's downloading updates. So it's being used in the whole house feature right now. Now, let's talk about how to get that price, because Verizon doesn't want Visible just being like, we have a $25 plan. So what they do is they have one plan. It's a $40 plan, and their deal is, it's called Party Pay. So they want you to get a bunch of people together and sign up together. Well, what they found out was they could do more volume by letting businesses be the party. Now, a lot of YouTubers have their own parties, whatever. The point is you have your own bill, you're completely separate. By bundling with other people, you get $25. I'm going to tell you the simplest way to do it like I did it. In the box where it asks you put in your Party Pay code, put in Walmart. That's all you got to do, guys. Put that in, you're automatically going to get $25 a month. Done. Easy. Now, at Walmart, if you do your research, you can get a 3-month card. And I think I paid like $40 or $50 for it for 3 months. And there's other ones out there, other little deals. There's always a deal going on, so look for it. But yeah, this is an option for home internet. Now, remember I said you could get this for free. If you might be a single person or a couple, and you wanted to change your actual phone service to Visible, there's nothing to stop you from going ahead and just turn your hotspot on and using your phone like normal, and that would run whatever TV or device you're working at that moment. So then you would basically get rid of your home internet. And I'm being honest with you guys, I will put the numbers up on the screen of how many hundreds of gigs we run through this. I mean, you cannot even imagine. And they don't say a word. They don't care. Visible completely does not care. So as you can see, this is a completely viable option. Obviously, you're going to have times where your peak may be different. You may be in a more city area that has more towers, and when I'm out running around doing our gig work, I'm getting places where I'm getting over 100 megabits per second just on the 4G LTE side. So when we go down to like GoPuff, when I go to work with my wife to do deliveries, I'm getting about 70 megabits per second there. So our speeds are directly correlated to our location and to the time of day it is. because it's like literally prime time when I'm filming this. So every kid's on their phone messing with stuff. I mean, it's just one of those things you guys kind of have to understand. But at those speeds, you're still able to do a full 1080p, maybe even more, without any problem. Now that said, this is not going to be perfect for everyone, but if you're a very frugal individual like me, or if you're having problems with a company and you need something to get you by, obviously we'll be moving in the tiny house here pretty soon. So if I decide to go back to Spectrum, I can always order new service because it's a new address, and I'll get locked in for another year or two on a contract. But for now, this is serving our purposes and doing what we need to do. I wanted to bring this to the forefront with you guys because some of you I know are out in places stuck on that 1 megabit per second DSL, or you've got companies trying to charge you $200 for this crazy 4G router and $100 a month for service for a card. That's crazy. You don't need to do that. Or if you're in an RV or a van or anything else, because this gets used all the time when we go on backpacking trips. If I've got a friend or something that has like AT&T or T-Mobile and they don't have service, you can just turn on your hotspot and let them contact their loved ones back home to let them know they made it. And that's a big deal. That's really cool. And also when we're traveling, I can use this to let my granddaughter use a tablet, or if me and my wife are car camping somewhere, we can put a movie on the tablet and relax in the evening by the campfire. So many good uses for this internet. Simple hack. I will be doing a full review on Visible wireless service in the upcoming month. But with that said, if you haven't already, and I don't know why you wouldn't have, go down and subscribe so you can see all of our frugal content coming out every week. Now, if you like the video, go down, take a moment, hit the like button, leave us a comment, let us know what your internet hacks are, and we will see you in the next one.